Okay, let's update our thumbnail. Get ourselves into the Path of Exile category. Okay. Good. Alright. See, where are we at with if there's anything good in the world of bows? 3 days. Nothing really. This one's really good, but it's 400 div, and honestly, it's actually not that good. Oh, yeah, it's not good at all. This one's actually pretty good. It's better than my bow, pretty much, you know, across the board, just not a whole lot. But it's 250, and we've got 360, but we're also going to end up having to spend money on runes for it. What runes would we need? Or how much I should say are they? Yeah, 14 divs, so it ends up being like almost 300 div, which, I mean, at this point, does it really matter? Maybe I'll pick it up later just for fun, and see how it affects my DPS. See, let's look at our atlas right now. We've got some stuff on here. We got a seepage. I hate seepage, man. What do we got over here? The silent cave with +1 to monster level. That's interesting. What's our overgrown? It's an experience overgrown though. Ugh. Raised fields +1. I mean, that's not bad. I don't love raised fields, but +1 to monster level I do like. +1 to monster level, and we're already got our maps rolled, so we don't gotta do anything extra there. Just go flop, flop, flop. But I think before we do that, I didn't end the stream with my normal pinnacles, so I think we're gonna run those first. I'm gonna run 2 Zest just to knock the rust off a little bit. The rust that accrued from the past 20 hours. Just kidding. There's no rust there. Yeah. So we can probably gonna yap a little bit about today about the things that I think that the new league will need, or that PoE2 needs for it in general, not just necessarily this league. Some of these things probably won't come into the 0.4, but because the main goal is endgame changes, but there are some changes outside of endgame and just balance-wise, and I probably won't touch on campaign because I mostly don't care too much about the campaign. Campaign is just a means to the end game, where I spend most of the time. Like, it's important, but only important for 15 hours of any character, and the character we can spend 100, 200 plus hours on. I mean, some people don't do that, but I usually do because I'm farming with them so much. So the campaign is a little less important to me. I just hope that campaign isn't horrible. And it's in a pretty good state as it is, realistically. At least, maybe it's not necessarily in a good state. It's kind of hard to say because I just ran it, you know. After you run it a dozen times, it's just simply not hard. And that's kind of where I want it to be, in a state of just not being all that difficult so I can get through it. Even the new areas are pretty easy, because most of the bosses are just reskinned other bosses. I'm pretty sure there's very few original ones. There's the one, like, monster thing it's in the Caldera map. I forget what the island it's on in the Act 4, but it's new. The naked chick and the shark are new, but a lot of them are just reskinned. I should say all the ones in like the interludes are reskinned. The ones in Act 4 are not reskinned. They're pretty much all original. Whoa! Big drop right off the bat, guys. You saw it here. Dialia's Desire. It's my second one of the league. I don't know what those are going for now. Last time I got one, it was 15 div. So earlier in the league, I paid 30 div for it. So, you know, big drops, guys. Starting off with a real fresh drop. That's what the game needs more of. Big fucking drops. Big drops that make you go, whoa. What you got for me? Is Ash anything big from you? Come on. I know you got something. I mean, it's exceptional. What's Crested Targe? Oh, this thing. Look at that, though. Sweet. Let's go see what the value of that is. First thing you run in a day, and it ends up being an absolute banger. The other one I dropped in Simulacrum. Let's see. Let's see what it is worth. 40 div? Whoa, we're taking it. Give me that 40. It's the most it's ever been worth. I guess people are just throwing their fucking money around right now. We're over 400 divine. We could actually, potentially, by the end of this stream, get a real gigabow now that we went from that 350 threshold closer to 400. Let's see. What are we looking at in the 400 area? I mean, that one kind of sucks. This one kind of sucks too. Damn, a lot of these 400 div bows are pretty bad, pretty ass. This one's pretty good at 350. Doesn't, you know, it's not great. I mean, for what it is, I can get it. The 351 I think is actually probably better. Right, we'll just keep going. We'll see what we got going on. I mean, this is crap. We'll just sell this. Let's see here. Exciting. Increase lightning. Okay. And we'll hold on to the exceptional Targe just because it's fun to have exceptional items. Alrighty. Let us get into our second breach. What is this? This is... So wait, what's mine at? 532. See, that's ass right there. I mean, we'll definitely buy a bow tonight. Just a matter of what we're gonna get. Hey, maybe we could look at a few other things too. I mean, honestly, it'd be kind of cool to get the Against the Darkness with cold damage. I don't know what they're going for. They were at like 500 and some, but if they've come down a little bit, we can consider that. back to my YouTube studio here. Okay. And we are just plowing away here. Yeah, it was a good start. Basically pays for the entire streams. Like I wouldn't necessarily get 40 div in a whole stream, even close necessarily, without like an outlier drop. So having it drop right off the bat is very nice. How to make 40 divine in 2 minutes, right? Do 1 breach, drop Dialios. It's like I wish I would have held on to the first Dialios I got, but I guess I didn't expect it to rebound late in the league, but I guess it makes sense. People are coming back and throwing their wallets around. Especially like trying out builds. But no Dialios this time? God, the game hates me. Since I've gotten my last, but we are still lamenting the fact that we've not dropped a ancient bone in like over a month. We haven't dropped an ancient bone in like over a month, which is crazy. Because let's see. Because in that time I've also dropped 2 golden charms, a Heinekor locked, 2 Dialia Desires now, and a Comb's Heart. Comb's Heart came out of the Vault of Kamasa, of all things. I'm sure I've dropped other things in that time. But the bones, I feel like they have legit been removed out of my game by Jonathan Rogers. But that's fine. We're just gonna keep plowing away. Okay, let's do our simi. And we'll use Nova. Maybe we'll get a diamond right off the bat, a Giga Diamond. I haven't gotten a great Giga Diamond. Most I think I sold one for was 3 div or so, 3 or 5 div. Don't remember, but I've gotten like 6 of them, just no great ones. And I have yet to get one with 3 affixes. They've all been double affixes, so I assume that it's like of all the diamonds, it's probably like a 10% chance that you get a diamond with 3 affixes as compared to 2. So I guess it's not that crazy yet. I think it's like 0.15 chance to get a diamond at all. So very low chance to get. It's like what, a 0.03 chance to get one with 3 affixes. Would be nice though. Would be nice to see. At this point, the the currency barely matters. We are just hoping for cool things, and we're doing dopamine farming. All those tink drops, are just exciting. They'll be more exciting in just in next Friday, next weekend. We do have the big reveal, GGG Live, in 1 day and like 16.5 hours or something like that. I think it was 1:17 when I logged on or so. So like a day and 17 hours. So less than 2 days now. We're gonna be all scouring the patch notes and trying to decide what type of builds look good, and what we're going to plan to do in the end game, and things that we have to look forward to, new uniques and such. should be very exciting. I think most everyone is planning on playing the Druid. I would assume that on day one you'll see about 75% of people playing Druid. If you play like in a public game or something, it's going to be just everyone running around with the Druid. I mean 82 Daggerfoot shoot. If you wanted to craft some horror boots, 50% horror boots, those would be the ones you do it with. I feel like Essence of Horror is probably going up though, with people coming back and throwing their money around. There was a point where they were like a div and a half. I think they're probably 4 or 5 now. It's going to be really interesting because I feel like at this point you can't really decide too much on what you're going to do. One of my favorite strategies early in the league is to farm essences and things, but we've got so many changes probably coming to the end game that, you know, I'm not sure if that would be invalid or if it would just necessarily be overshadowed by something else. I still anticipate it'll probably be a smart thing to go into though. Because you can really get a lot of essences on a single map pretty easy. And they're really easy to kill. They're easy to set up on, really. Look at that, Divine. Alright, we are up 41 Divine in 2 breaches and 1 simulacrum, guys. Follow me for financial advice. Okay, let's keep going. That was early on too. I like that. I like when you get a div early on. It means it's pretty. It's still high likelihood that we'll get one later in the simulacrum. Okay, next area. Let's start talking about what PoE2 needs. Once we get into the next, into the maps, we're just chilling. We're just knocking off some rust, and apparently stacking loot. Apparently, we're stacking massive amounts of loot. Yeah, it was a really good start though. I am giddy with that awesome start. But yeah, I guess I've been talking for the past week that I'm thinking about more or less leaning into the Druid because it does seem fun. But I will say, I've seen polls on X and Facebook PoE groups and stuff, and it does seem like about approximately 75 to 80% of people who are in those groups are planning on playing the Druid right at the beginning, which isn't exactly exciting. But then you factor in that, you know, this game is a single player game. I'm not really going to be playing with other people. So, kind of doesn't really matter, other than what it does to the economy for those items that they're going to be using. But that doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to be unaffordable. People said this build was pretty expensive at one point. And not only have we dumped tons of currency into it and made it super OP, but we have tons of currency now. It's a great farming build. Doesn't get too much better. Whoa, just got stuck in that. Whatever that is, a turd sticking out of the ground. Look up. Alright, we got 5 more. 5 more thingamajigs, waves. Hopefully we get some more tinkage in here. And we'll jump into maps. Already got the precursors set. We'll do that raised field first. Raised field is usually pretty good for dropping a little bit of currency. Especially with that +1 on there. Easy money. Our friends Uncle Kosis and Auntie Omniphobia. Alright, and we've got our last 3 waves going on. For those just popping in here, we did already drop Deadye's Desire in the first breach we ran. We just ran a breach for warming up, or a Twisted Domain. Dropped the Deadye's and got 40 div right off the bat. So, we're feeling it right now. We're feeling good. Be sure to follow me for financial advice. Okay. Is But I know I said it a lot yesterday, but I am really excited to see what the supporter packs are for this league coming up. Mostly because I will be losing my hideout and my stash tab, so I will need a new hideout and I will need more points. So, great way to get that is with those supporter packs. So looking forward to see what they provide this time. If it's not that great, the Verdant Magus pack looks pretty good. I actually did I picked up a precursor tablet yesterday, and the seller had the Verdant Magus hideout, so I got to hang out a little bit in there and walk around and check it out. Pretty cool. I think that would actually be a really cool thing for like their supporter pack hideouts and stuff, if they made some way of actually like visiting them as a way to like check them out before you bought them. Oh, it's over. The Knight Armor. We got an element and a div out of it though, so we can't be too upset. Go away, no one likes you, buddy. Hold up, let's... slam some of these irradiated tablets. Alright, and then we will... I mean, those aren't great, but they are 82s. So, like, it could be cool to get 35% on them. And then hope for, like, fracturing the movement speed and then slamming for... Like, it would be, like, you'd want to, I guess, get the movement speed, slam for, like, rarity. Or I guess slam, I don't know. Yeah, slam for rarity. I get the socketed items on there. I guess you put the, well, you add one, then you add the desecration. Go for the socketed items. Or no, the socket, is it upgraded? No, that upgrades it to a rare, huh? So I guess you have the rarity, hit it with the socketed items, and hit it with the desecration. Maybe later we'll consider it. I'm not really into like the endgame crafting stuff right now. I'm too tired for that. Tired boss. Alright, let's see, what are we going here? We'll do this juicier one, 131. We've got our Nova projectiles on. I really don't mind raised fields, it just sucks for breaches, like running into walls and stuff. It also seems like common that I end up with like 7 breaches on this map, and so like it just makes it worse because it's hard to like avoid them at that point. Yeah, maybe we'll buy a big Gigabow and after the first set of first 10 maps or so. It's cool to see a Dialias though, especially 2 in a league. You know, it's fun to see 2 Dialias, a bunch of head-irons. As much as the items that I've seen, it definitely makes me think that there is, you know, there's hope for farming in the future. Hopefully they don't nerf it too much, but I do expect there to be some nerfs coming to rarity in general. For the better, you know, I think that, like, it's annoying to have to, like, I guess, like, the question you gotta ask is, like, are you okay with nerfs to rarity if it means the ceiling of rarity is dropped? And it's like, it's kind of a hard thing to exactly weigh. Like, I think they need to potentially increase the rarity on the maps or something at that point, though, because they've already nerfed the ceiling for rarity once with the towers, which, you know, I'm okay with. I think that was fine. I didn't mind it either way, I'll be honest with you. Did not mind juicing towers. I did not mind ignoring towers and still getting some loot. That way I didn't feel like it was too negative. I do think this is a little bit, like, in some ways more streamlined. I wouldn't say necessarily more streamlined, because every 10 maps you're getting more precursors, whereas before you had to, like, basically find an area worthy of precursors. You know, with towers, then you need a lot of precursors. Kind of see both sides of it, but I feel like if they nerf rarity again, they really need to, or if they nerf rarity on gear, they're going to need to find a way to buff it in maps or something. Or they could just find a way to make it easier to get on gear, but I feel like that's a little bit cheesy. I feel like that's not the best option. It's not the worst, it's better than not having rarity and having it be a poverty league, but if they, but like, that's like the risk, I guess, of nerfing rarity, is like you don't want it to become like a poverty league where like there's like just no option to getting better shit. Some people are always going to, I guess, find I think even if you nerf rarity, you make it a more level playing field. I feel like you're always going to have some people who just have bad luck, you know? Like you hope it's not you, but sometimes that happens. It happens with a lot of people. It happens with other aspects of the game too, not just rarity and mapping. Like mapping for drops. Like in 0.2, they've made changes to it since, but like in 0.2, I notably, at least to me, did about 50 towers, like tower maps. Like I mapped around, hit approximately 50 towers or more. It was more, I'm sure, before I hit my first citadel, and that was just potentially bad luck. And I was doing everything that I know to find citadels, going in a straight line for long periods, you know, but like, yeah, it was just so I feel like, you know, just the nature of the game kind of should, you know, bad luck exists, I guess is all I'm saying. I remember seeing on the forum someone posted about citadels this league, saying how they had just not did not run into any citadels, and they've been playing the game they were like level 90 something, and they just ran it. They just couldn't get into citadels, and they put it in the bug report section of the website. And one of the people on the moderation team, I guess, they looked into it, and they actually like looked at his map without the fog and like reported back, and we're just like, yeah, you just have really bad luck. You know, you've actually been close to several, but you haven't hit any, so you know, it kind of sucks. I feel like that's always going to be that's always going to potentially be a part of the case. I feel like you can't. It's hard to beat that aspect of the game. It's like I mean, like, I'll be honest with you. Like, if I was playing SSF, it'd be very difficult for me to have level 20 skill gems. I would have had them all by now, but it would have taken me much longer. And like getting like level 21 skill gems, it just wouldn't happen. I have corrupted tons of skill gems, and I have not gotten a single increase in level on any of them. So I think that, you know, again, bad luck just seems to exist. You kind of have to get over bad luck just by playing the game more, which a lot of people don't like that answer. I think that's probably the big problem with that answer. Is people don't like the idea, they don't like to be told, like, hey, you're not playing enough to get good stuff. And look, nice little divine drop. So, like, as much as I definitely think they need changes to rarity, I'm not saying they don't. I'd hate to see them make changes to rarity and then have people complain about the drop rates. Right? Like, they already complain about the drop rates with rarity. You move rarity as being like such a hallmark thing, and people still have problems dropping things because they think that, oh, now we're all on a level playing field, but some people are still going to end up inevitably with better drops than others. It's just kind of how it works sometimes. A lot of people aren't going to drop, you know, 2 Dialias in a league. I've dropped 2 Dialias in the past couple weeks. But, like, also, like, before that I dropped no Dialias, so, like, you know. A lot of people will, like, do things like, you know, farm Rakiata's Flow for a week and just not get one. I had a friend who would farm. He was farming for the Timeless Jewel from Kulamak, and he just bought tons of invitations and was just farming it straight away, just all day. And I think it took him like maybe 3 days to get his first one, like just 3 days. And I got one like my second time I fought Gulamak. And then I got another one. I got two before he got one, and I didn't purchase any invitations, just kind of did them as I got them. So same person also farmed for like weeks, at least a week or two. For golden charms, I got 2 golden charms in a week this league. You know, there's no secret to a lot of it. There's no farming strategy necessarily that makes you drop crazy shit. Sometimes it's just luck. And playing a lot. And luck. It's like luck and playing a lot, you know? It's like kind of like the lottery. You can't win if you don't play. But you can also like pay enough money in lottery tickets before you actually win the lottery that it kind of invalidates the winnings. Less likely with the actual lottery, but more likely with something like, you know, casino games or something. You could definitely like pay more into it than when you hit a jackpot, and you're like excited that you hit a jackpot, but it's like you put a jackpot into winning the jackpot, you know. So I hope that they do change rarity. I hope they do fix it. I do hope they make it more accessible. But I hope that it doesn't. I hope that it actually works to the degree that people aren't going to continually still feel like they are getting the short end of the stick, because I think that that's honestly just extraordinarily likely to happen. I think there's a high probability that people will still have problems. Oh shit. Gotta watch out for that. Oh shit. Okay. I think that, you know, for the most part, the people who play a lot, they get what they want out of the game. And they're never going to be able to, like, actually equalize it for people who put half the amount of time in. It's just kind of like I don't think the game is designed for that. As much RNG is in the game. You can only play so smart and so on point. You know, and as much as I feel like I've been pretty lucky this league, you know, I haven't dropped a mirror. There's people who have dropped a mirror. There's people who have dropped more than a mirror, you know. Then there's people who haven't dropped shit. So, just kind of is what it is. You know, and honestly, like, I haven't, like, seen a lot of suggestions on what they should do about rarity. Like, other than, like, remove it from gear. Which might be great, but like you'd have to, like I said, boost it on the maps or boost it on your passive tree somehow to make up for it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a poverty league. And I guess if you don't mind a poverty league, that's fine. But I think a lot of people do mind a poverty league. You know, like 0-2 was a fucking poverty league at the beginning, at the first half of it, before they boosted the rates. They boosted a lot of shit. And that was a horrible league at the first, was it 3 weeks? Almost a month? Because they released it at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month, they had Anzac Day, so it was like actually over a month. because they didn't come back until like the first week of the next month or something like that. And when they did, they came back with a kind of a roadmap of what they were going to be fixing. And a lot of that was just like boosting some of the drops, I believe. Maybe not directly just boosting the drops, but whatever they did resulted in boosted drops. Which is what everyone wanted. I'd like to remind everyone that, you know, you could have great luck and still not get any ancient bones, like I've been displaying. You could have less shit than I have, but if you've gotten ancient, if you've been dropping any semblance of ancient bones, I'm kind of jealous. Just because I want to see one drop again. It just feels scant for me. Look at all those fractured mirrors. Love them fractured mirrors. It's gold in them fractured mirrors. One thing that, like, you know, I like about the Abyss, but I also think was, like, kind of bad about the Abyss is that, like, the Abyss had synergy with Essences a little bit and Expedition, but that was basically it. Like, two mechanics that aren't, like, amazing. Like, I don't mind Essences realistically, but the Expedition is always bad. I feel like having the abyssal monsters that can come out of the ground is like not super common, and two, like kind of a nothing burger. You get the essence of Abyss, which is kind of cool. At least it had some value to it, more so than like 99%, pretty much all the other essences except for like a perfect essence of battle. And it was pretty common when you found it in the abyssal areas, so that was cool. But I also felt like they could have synergized with other things more, like making. I think if you like killed Kosis and Omniphobia near an abyss, it would have been cool to see like a abyssal version of them. That's, you know, maybe make them drop things like Omen of Lights as well. Like just a big nasty, give them like abyssal modifiers and stuff. That could have been really cool. They could have had like, if your breach was in an abyss, that you have like breach monsters, or abyss monsters in your breaches. Or like some of the modifiers at least. I think that would be cool, especially since they share some modifiers anyway. With like Soul Eater and stuff. I'm pretty sure Soul Eater is a mod you can get from Abyss monsters. Maybe I'm wrong, but still, could have been much cooler than it was. You know, like if you drop rarity out and you or drop gear rarity out and you basically boost rarity for everyone, so that like everyone drops more stuff. Doesn't really solve the economic issues of it. Like it might solve the issues of like sort of from an SSF what you drop is good perspective, but like if you end up dropping more divine, say like you go from dropping like 3 divine a day to 10 divine a day just based off of those drops, then the people who went from dropping 20 divine a day are going to go up to, you know, 60 divine a day or something like that. The chance that they are able to still bully the market in the same exact way is extraordinarily high. it doesn't really do much to fix it for them. You know, the sweats will always kind of rule that stuff, and I'm not sure if there's a way to fix that. You can apply the same logic to basically any game. Like, why is somebody who plays a game better at the game? You know, let's say isn't like a loot-based game. It's just a game that, you know, you can just beat. Just about beating the game and like being better at it. The people who play it more are going to be better. You know. Damn, only one pit. One pit maps are doo-doo. Please give me a coffer, don't give me a depths. Coffer, no depths, coffer, no depths. I don't want to go down there. Is it a coffer? Arsenal. No fucking bone, guys. No ancient bone once again. But yeah, so I think like so to tie that back into what PoE needs changes to rarity. They need changes to rarity that make people happy. Specifically, like I'd say that's like the bigger thing. It's like they don't just need changes of rarity, they need changes to rarity that will make people satisfied, because I don't think it's ever going to be truly balanced. So like, you know, maybe they just, you know, a lot of people say like maybe rarity just shouldn't be tied to currency, and maybe that is the answer, you know. Like, because if you boost rarity, then you know, but I don't know. Because then you just end up with a bunch of trash ass uniques, right? Like, and rares. Like, no one at this point, you know, rares drop all over the place. I don't pick them up. Uniques drop all the time. I don't pick them up. I feel like if you weren't hunting the currency because you didn't really care about currency, you cared more about the drops, they boosted the drop rates of like uniques and rares and stuff like that, you would come to the same conclusion. The top players, or, you know, better players, I don't want to say better players, but the ones who are dropping more shit, the ones who do have rarity, have already come to that stuff is mostly dog shit. It's not really, you can't really target farm it unless you're fighting like a pinnacle for something, and most pinnacle uniques are low value. Besides a few, whenever they get like a really good corruption or something like that. It's very, you know, and the reason for that is because you can target farm them. The only thing that you can target farm that has a decent monetary value is citadels. At least that's my belief. It's the only thing that you can truly target farm that has a relatively consistent value. I think that, you know, maybe in addition to boosting rarity, there's just other loot issues that they need. They need better uniques. They need better uniques from your pinnacles. Potentially we need Ubers that can have a higher ceiling for reward drops. Like if you did a Arbiter, like if Uber Arbiter always dropped a diamond, it would bring the cost of those diamonds down, but it would like increase the power ceiling, and it would really make doing it worth more. But it would bring the cost down, the value down of those better diamonds, right? But like the cost is kind of irrelevant whenever you're able to boost your power to a high degree just by yourself by farming it. You know. But again, I don't really know, you know, what the answer is going to be with rarity. So yeah, that's my probably one of my top ones that is going to need changed for like basic, for players to be happy. Another one's going to be balance, but I'll be honest, like, I feel like balance is a little bit overrated. It's never going to be all that balanced. PoE1's not balanced. PoE1's not balanced. In addition to that, Druid's definitely not going to be balanced. People always find a way to break the game, but in the regards of balance, they definitely need to make a lot of the builds, a lot of the skills, a lot of just the, not even just, it's not even skills, it's like the concept of some of the skills needs to be improved. Like, you know, fire needs to be better. It needs more damage in general, and like ignite needs like there should be like better proliferation of ignite. You should just light up a group and it should catch them like a wildfire, in a similar way that lightning chains. Because I think that's going to be the only way to get people off of lightning. I feel like the game isn't. I feel like freeze isn't like technically like a bad thing, but I don't think the game is hard enough to need to freeze your enemies. So like maybe if they boost the ceiling of bosses and stuff like that, then there would be more requirement or you get more use out of freeze. And these are just sort of my ranting opinions, my yapping. But I don't think these are things that other people haven't thought of, or that other people wouldn't agree with if they sat down to consider it. You know, you make those pinnacles harder to the point where you can't just out DPS them with lightning. You might want a little bit of freeze in your. You know, you might want to hit them with a freeze and then you know, do other types of damage in general. Like if you could freeze them and then hit them with fire and ignite them, and or whatever your element is. You wouldn't necessarily just need to out DPS them. I think that's probably a big issue, is just out DPSing the bosses. And I like out DPSing things. Like I love builds that basically just face tank shit and do massive damage. Or sometimes not even face tank things, but I do like builds that can face tank. Like that, I was definitely like, I really do like the concept of the warrior and being able to, like, you know, especially like the Smith of Katava last league, where you could basically make him like, I mean, I don't want to say invulnerable, but you can make him pretty fucking tanky. It just able to just eat damage and everything. He just didn't have the single target that he needed. And to be fair, he did have single target. He just didn't have. The problem with the single target is that like things like Hammer of the Gods, which is what I was trying to run, was locked behind building enough. Was it Glory or whatever? I don't remember if it was Glory or something else, but that basically bottlenecked it. Not to mention there's certain bosses that just have like insane stun thresholds for like, I don't want to say no reason, but it's just like extraordinarily high. Like the big, is it the Bone Colossus, I believe? Not the elephant one, the worm one. He's just so tanky, especially with his stun threshold. Also Zalmaroth, the Titan one, just so tanky that you can't really get a good stun on them. You can't really get the glory even if you wanted to, even if you did have like you know, good setup. Though they are stationary, which is annoying because they're super stationary. They should be like really susceptible to things like Hammer of the Gods, but they're not, for the reason of the, their stun threshold. Which would make it nice if, like, you know, if you didn't have to rely on that. Instead, you can focus more on the fire aspect of things, igniting, work in some more fun explosions. Same goes for other builds too, though. A lot of other builds need to be balanced more. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of balance this league, especially as it pertains to endgame. I like the endgame skills and builds and stuff like that. At least I hope. I hope we get some changes to fire and freeze. But again, like, it might not even be that freeze needs touched up as much as it needs to be. We just need bosses to be harder to require freezing them. You just don't need to deal with it right now at this point. So yeah, hopefully we get some Ubers in there. I think we need some Ubers. Like, I really don't think it made sense to. I think that was, like, probably the worst change. It goes, like, kind of over. You know, it's not a lot of people have complained about it, but probably one of my least favorite changes going into the current league is that they took away the 4th tier of bosses, and now they just have, like, 16 million health instead of 32 million health, or 15, whatever it is. I don't think that was, like, a positive change. Like, I think lowering the floor on accessing them and defeating them, especially at the lower levels, is fine, but I don't think, like, taking away the top end ceiling was necessary. Where do we go? Guess we'll go Val City again. I like Val City. Can't make me not like Val City. Hated it earlier in the league. Hated it. It was a hard map. I died a lot on this fucking map. Damn. It's funny, like, 4 socket bows, like, even like a shitty 4 socket goes for like 700. There's like one that's tier 1, tier 2 affixes, and it's like 900 div. That's fucking crazy. Basically 900 to 1,000 div just to start into the tier 1, tier 2 conversation. I mean, it makes sense in a way, you know, if you've ever crafted bows. But that's still fucking crazy. Like, you can spend, you know, 400 or 500 div crafting a bow like that, at least a couple hundred, and then to hit the fourth socket on it. Like maybe a 1 in 3 chance if you're lucky. So like if you think about it from that perspective, yeah, it makes sense that it'd be over 1,000. Just like statistically speaking, it's kind of makes sense, but holy shit, that's a lot. Especially since, you know, I've gotten by pretty well with like a less than 200 div bow. Like that's just a flex at that point, right? I assume that you're just flexing on people. It's kind of another thing is like a lot of people like I think they see like these crazy like mirror tier items and mirror tier builds and stuff, and they think like they need that because that's what a top player has, and they have all the, you know, I don't think it's even close to true, obviously. Like I think even knowing that comes with just playing the game more. You know, not trying to get on people for not playing enough, but like, you know, there is a certain amount of knowledge that I feel like you don't really start to even put together necessarily until you're, you know, you could probably spend 1,000 hours before you get enough knowledge to make decisions, like smart decisions. Depending on how you spend your time, that is. Like I was like over 1,000 hours into the game before I actually put my hands into crafting at all. But now that I do crafting a little bit, I understand it. And, you know, it's like a big aspect of the game now. For me, it's not a huge aspect, but for getting gear for myself, the occasional profit craft, like not crazy profit crafting over here, but you can see where those people are making their money, and it's not like it's like some bullshit thing that they're making their money like that. It's just a knowledge thing. And, you know, an investment, not just with their in-game currency, but just with their time. Touch the rock. Touch the rock. Yeah, you're up to 32%. We're almost exactly a third of the way. You know, and a lot of people, they'll be like, back to like the rarity and profitability aspect of it, a lot of people, they want to be like, oh, I don't want to play a meta build, so they create their own builds which are slower, which just like economically is just like worse, you know? So like a lot of it just comes down to like the choices that people are making sometimes. Like obviously I'm playing a meta build, but I'm also getting all the items and the currency and the value I want out of the game. And those things go hand in hand. So like if you're one of the people that likes to solve problems on your own, and that means that you want to create your own build, then so be it. But like if you create your own build and then you go, oh, okay, I create a build, it's strong, it's just not necessarily fast, and I can't find the gear that I need to upgrade, and I don't have enough currency. Maybe the reason is because it's not fast, and that the people who are moving the market in a way that keeps it from being attainable for you are just simply moving faster in a lot of ways. And they're doing that because they're following builds that aren't necessarily something they created, because they don't have that desire to create a build that is totally unique to just them. I've seen some really cool builds that people have made. I saw a guy post on like the official Path of Exile Facebook group or whatever, because I'm in every fucking Path of Exile group except for Reddit, because Reddit's for scumbags. Just kidding. And he made a double Mjolnir build that used Ember Fuselage, and it looked fucking cool. It was pretty fast too. Wasn't as fast, but it was pretty fast. It was pretty decent and everything. But I assume it probably took him most of the league to actually get it to where he wanted it, to do whatever he needed, you know? It probably wasn't cheap either. So, like, you know, if you're the type of person you want to problem solve, you know, you can't, like, get to a point where you hit a dead end and then be like, oh, the game needs to be changed so that it's easier for me to problem solve my way through it, right? I mean, I guess you can have that opinion, but, like, it just seems kind of like counterintuitive to the original purpose of what you were trying to do by making your own build. And like, regardless of what you want, what you think is like, oh, that's a meta build or whatever, but like, there's always going to be better builds, and they're probably going to be made by build crafters, because there are people at this point who get paid to play this game through people who watch, and what they do is they make builds. They spend hours and hours and hours doing it. And they've done it for potentially over a decade between PoE1 and PoE2, and they could, their crafting could go back even further into Diablo games and such. So I'm just yapping, but you know, I think it's all relative to the, oh shit, not this asshole again. All relative to the conversation about, you know, rarity and why people sometimes don't feel like they're getting what they have earned out of the game. Kind of a weird way to put it, but you know, if you put a certain amount of hours into the game, you feel like you've earned the ability to get certain items and currencies. But there's always going to be people who play more, who get more. Like, you know, I'm not getting paid to play, but I do put a lot of time in. But you know, there's people who are going to get more shit out of it than me, especially those people who are crafting builds, you know, because they get paid to do this. Or the people who come up with, you know, the farming strats and everything, crafting guides. It's kind of hard to, because you know, they buy stuff and they buy it like basically affordably, because no one, because it's not an expensive thing until they put it out there that it is a, like, either a good way to make money or a good way to create your build. And then it goes up in price after they've already created it. They wouldn't, a lot of these people, like, you, I mean, maybe if you watch their, like, live streams or something, and they live stream 8 hours at a time, you could potentially follow it as it goes, but, like, if you're following it via, like, a video that comes out, like, a week after they've done, like, testing and everything, the prices will be up there. So basically, I'm just advocating for making the game, trying to make the game fun for everyone, but in a way that makes sense, because it's never going to be equal. It's never going to be balanced, especially not in the market, the economy, the trade league. It's not going to be balanced. Let's see, what do we want to do? Do we want, Lost Towers is not like a great map. I don't want to do an Untainted Paradise. Do Sulfuric. Yeah, I like Sulfuric. We'll do Sulfuric. What have we got? We got mostly shit maps at this point. Low item rarity maps. But yeah, the game definitely needs some other things though too, like because like rare items and stuff, you know, those are hard to happen across. They do take a certain amount of crafting knowledge, and you can't rely on any uniques. Like I don't think anyone's like I think the only two unique weapons that come up off the top of my head that people have used up to any degree, to any level of success were Tangle Tongue last league, and this league we had the Lich build that used Last Lament. Other than that, there's just not a lot of really good uniques, especially ones that work and stay consistently powerful and scale up with the end game. So like I think like bringing in more actual useful uniques could be a huge part of making it feel better for everyone. Because like if they don't have to worry about, because basically you either have to learn how to craft, or if you're not going to learn to craft, you need to just farm currency so that you can buy the things that other people craft. I mean, the other option is to get extraordinarily lucky with the drop, and that's just impossible with how things are weighted and stuff like that. It's not impossible, but it's nearly impossible. You're usually, you know, you might get 2 affixes. You could even get 3 affixes, but you're not going to get that 6 T1, T2 affix, where every affix is something that is like what you want. It's just not happening. You know, for like all the breach rings I've got, you know, I think the single best breach ring I've dropped had 2 tier 1 flats, and that's pretty much it. Everything else on it was basically shit, but it had 2 tier 1 flats, which is nothing to sneer at. But like, you know, not a lot of people are crafting on things like that. It's hard to craft a ring in general. Jewelry is hard to craft. Like the only thing you could probably spend 15 div annulling the suffixes off, and then like, you know, adding, and or you could, I don't even know, because there's not even a lot of essences that work with suffix with the rings. It's kind of, you know, I feel like it'd be helpful if they made it so you could more easily go back to like a magic item or something, and then you could go and you can be using regals and things like that a little bit more, and essences more freely. But I know that they are not going to do anything like that because it's too powerful. Like I'm pretty sure they've said exactly as much when they've been asked. You know, and like that's also part of it. You know, they want people to invest their time in the game. You know, they don't want people to finish the game, finish their characters or finish their builds within a week. They want to string you along as long as they possibly can. You know, that would be them doing a good job, is the more time that you play. Even if it frustrates you, you know, that you playing for longer periods is good for them. It's kind of have to reframe your expectation, I guess, in a lot of ways. I mean, I know if they made things easier to drop, like good fucking, good rares, or they made more build-defining uniques that were just pretty OP, that I would have that stuff very early in the league, and I would use it to farm the shit out of, you know, all the stuff that I'm farming, and I would be able to start it weeks earlier, you know? And I would just further increase the power and the speed of my build, the clear speed, you know. And honestly, it'd be hard to keep the motivation to play the game as long as I have. Like this build has been a constant It's been a constant it's been a constant, what do you call it? Continuous effort to make him this good. What is that on the map? Why is that on? Um, yeah, let's try to think. What other fun things haven't I dropped this league? I've not dropped a Astramentus. I'd like to drop an Astramentus someday. I mean, I don't know what I would do with it now. I'd be kind of upset to drop it now. I'd like to make a stat stacker again at some point. Like a stat stacker ritualist. I know that you can make a stat stacker ritualist now. I think it's relatively expensive though. I mean, I guess it's not that expensive because Astramentus is pretty cheap. If I took this, you know, my 400 plus divine that I have now and I made a stat stacker ritualist, could probably do a lot of damage in the end game. But the issue would definitely be that I wouldn't be able to afford the rarity, putting rarity on it to the degree that I have rarity on this. It just wouldn't be there. I'll go to the abyssal toilet. Let's see, what's this? Fire damage. I mean, realistically, we should just go like full fizz, right? Like, that's the smart thing. Like, we want fizz because the lightning arrow just converts to fizz. Like, you could have extra lightning damage, which is good, but if you have just a blast, you just blast way more. It's just gonna convert anyway. It's also better for like if you get to lightning immune enemies, it's not quite as drastic of a problem. So let's talk about, let's yap about like what I'd like to see change it. Just go through all the assigns so you can see what changes I'd like to make, at least for the ones that I know which ones I'd change. So, Deadeye, obviously there'd be nerfs. But like my hope would be that the nerfs would not be as heavy. Like I think Lightning Arrow, Lightning Rod needs a DPS nerf. I think that yeah, I think those are that's honestly the main thing. Lightning Arrow, Lightning Rod for, like, a lot of people are saying Roa, but if they already did nerf the Roa once. They also buffed it so you don't just get knocked off it as easy though. So Roa's kind of, I'll put that off to the side. I don't really care either way. I don't know how you nerf it. Bring it down a little bit slower. I don't know what you bring it down to. It's like negates 80% of the skill speed loss. Um, so maybe if it was 70% of the skill speed loss, like I don't think that they'll nerf it down to like 50. I think that's a little bit egregious. Like at one point, you don't want to like deter people from actually using the skill at all. You just don't want it to be overpowered. So like, and it's not. It's also not. I know everyone's using it with the Deadeye because it's it's a speed build. But like anyone could use it. I'm actually surprised as to why like other people don't use it. Assumedly they just have other things they want to put their spirit in for more DPS or something. I'll skip Pathfinder because I'll be honest, never played Pathfinder. I don't know what I'd want to see in it to make it better, and I've seen people who play Pathfinder and it looks actually pretty good in a lot of ways. Like maybe like if they were able to bring Deadeye so it was more in line with Pathfinder as far as like the overall viability of it, because it's still viable. It's just maybe too good as it is, Deadeye is. I think what's the next one? Monk. Chiula. We need more chaos damage, more chaos skills that are viable. Less gimmicky ones, the ones that are like actually like pretty strong or relatively decent. They have like gimmicks like pick up the fire remnants and shit like that, and just nobody. I just don't think anyone wants to do that. So yeah, just give them some strong ass fucking skills. You know, things that you can actually build an endgame character around. You know, and I think that comes with like, I think, you know, I want an overall boost to chaos damage. I don't think Invoker needs any changes, to be honest with you. At least none that I've seen. Like, there's nothing specific that makes it like extraordinarily weak. It's the stronger of the builds currently. I don't think it needs any nerfs. And I think that like by itself, like right now, like people are using it with Hollow Palm, and Hollow Palm will be better on a new Ascendancy, like the martial artist that people are assuming is coming. If not this league, then soon. But like even if you remove Hollow Palm, it's still pretty good just with the quarterstaff. You can do a lot of damage with the quarterstaff with it. Potentially more in a lot of ways. I think a lot of people have found quarterstaff builds to be stronger in a lot of cases. I do like the Hollow Palm because it's actually quite easy to build your character, quite easy to gear up. Easy to craft the gear for it as well. So I don't think Invoker needs changes. I think Cheula Monk needs any changes I would want to Invoker. I would double them and move and pass them on to Cheula Monk. Covers Monk. I'm going over the original classes, I guess, in my head first. The first, you know, 5 or whatever they were. Mercenary. Gemling. Honestly, like, I'd like them to bring... I don't know, Gemling got like nerfed from being a good stat stacker, but it got nerfed in a way that was mostly like gear changes. So like, I don't know what you really do to make him more powerful. I know that whenever they were making this league, they had said that they had made changes to the Gemling, because like you originally, like, the thing that made the Gemling good was that you could use multiple of the same gems, and then they made it that, like, kind of the case for everybody. And then, like, in testing, like, as a placeholder, they said that they made it so so that the Gemling could use 2 of the same gems. Hey, look at that. On the same skill, so like 2 rapid attacks, and that was just simply too powerful. And honestly, I don't know what they did with that, what they ended up doing. I haven't actually even inspected it at all. But like, you know, I think they would, like, something, I think they should do something like that again, but maybe make it so it's like the second gem is only like 50% as good as the first. So like, was it rapid attacks is like 25% faster speed, so you add another one, you end up with 36%, not 50% total. I still think it would probably be too powerful just for GGG's liking, but I'd like to see something to bring Gemling Stat Stacker back. Just because I don't know exactly what else you do with that build if you're not stat stacking. And right now, like, the stat stacker is just going to be taken over by the ritualist, which isn't like a bad thing. It's kind of like almost like an obvious choice with the 3 rings. You know, you have 3 rings and ingenuity, which is going to boost both your rings and things like that. It's just kind of an obvious choice for stat stacker. But yeah, I'd like to see that get better. Witch Hunter, crossbow upgrades. I think that a lot of those are fixed actually this league. I think the crossbow supposedly feels a lot better for a lot of people. It's not as sluggish as it was. I played it with 0-2 just briefly, and it was really slow. Like with the reload and everything, but I think a lot of that has been fixed. So I don't think that necessarily needs to be changed as much. I think it just lacks interesting ascendancy nodes. So I don't know exactly how I would fix that, but just something to set it a little bit apart from, you know, you can, like, there's the crossbow lich and things like that. Like, you can probably do as good with other builds to use a crossbow. So maybe just something a little bit more crossbow centric with the ascendancies, like boosting damage, or even grenade, you know. But I have seen a lot of people run grenades, and I wouldn't be opposed to running grenades, especially if we saw some sort of interesting changes made to it. I don't really want to do Lost Towers, but we're gonna do Lost Towers. Just because it's gonna open up some fog. So yeah, Witch Hunter could get some love just in boosting its DPS. I think its defenses are actually pretty good, They're at least, you know, it's not like Lich level of ES stacking or anything, but it seems like it's in a decent place of ES evasion. You can kind of go either way or hybrid it. Tactician seems relatively booty as a solo player. I've seen some people like it pretty well. And I think it's actually doesn't seem too bad realistically. It just doesn't seem like you could do a lot of what you do with it. I think outside of the support, like when it comes to like you know, you could do a lot of that stuff with Witch Hunter. So like, I guess like one thing that I was like hoping with that build originally was like I was hoping that you could have like a minion, and when I say a minion I mean similar to a mercenary, like how mercenaries were in PoE1, or more specifically how mercenaries acted in Diablo 2, where you could basically hire a mercenary and you could outfit it with armor. I think it would be cool if you could get a mercenary that you could outfit with gear. So it increases the cost of a mercenary, for sure, but you can make them extraordinarily strong, and you could maybe socket skills and supports into them. So like maybe you get, you know, you can get them you can like use up to a 5 link on them, and you could potentially put like a couple of skills and a couple of supports, and the supports would just apply to both skills. I think that would just be cool, because then it would allow you to play a support build in the Tactician. Even solo, you know, because like you can't really play a support build by yourself. But I have like played on, you know, co-op with tacticians that are, what do you call them, like banner bots. And they're really helpful, but like by themselves they just don't seem that useful. I have seen ones that like use a lot of like pin or blind or something. They're pretty decent, but again, I feel like you could probably do that with the Witch Hunter, and the reason Witch Hunters don't necessarily do that is because they don't need to, because they're a little bit more versatile. So that would be like, if I could make one change to Tactician, it'd be something to give it something to support in the way of a singular strong minion. What's this? Oh, never mind. I was thinking Tabula Rasa for a second. I haven't dropped one yet, so I was a little bit giddy with that one. Okay. Would love to drop a Tabula Rasa. For no real reason either. I don't know who would even use a Tabula Rasa right now, but it would be cool to see one drop. Okay, we got 2 breaches. Let's see, where else? What other? Got Enchantress. Enchantress, I think, needs the most work. But right off the bat, I don't know how I would improve Chronomancer. I know that some people have made some decent strides as far as making like a cold Chronomancer, which sounds to me like it would just be very good at like freezing. So it'd be freezing time and then freezing the enemy, so you just have like extended periods of time where they're like really long periods of time where they just can't do anything, which sounds fun. And I think that would maybe be a little potentially better if the bosses were harder, like I mentioned before, with like cold damage. So like freezing and cold damage kind of are lackluster. Not because they are themselves lackluster, but because you just don't have too much of a reason to freeze an enemy that you can melt in seconds anyway. I think a lot of builds end up doing, or pushing more towards cold early in the campaign, because that's whenever you're going to have the most issues with that as far as bossing. Stormwaver needs restored back to its former glory as far as the Spark skill gem and as far as the passive tree nodes near it for mana stacking. We need more mana stacking because, you know, I understand that it was very powerful and they probably didn't want to condone something quite so powerful, but at the same time, we have life stacking, which is just as powerful, literally just as powerful, and more powerful with like the blood mage. We got 3, 2 of them are good. Okay, that's cool. So we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll go boom, boom. Okay. Let's do some pinnacling. Do these twisted domains first. So yeah, I think Stormweaver could be enhanced through and mana stacking for the most part. That would be like the one change I would make to it. As far as the third ascendancy for Enchantress, I think it needs a third ascendancy. I don't know what that third ascendancy would be. I would like it to lean into fire, since it seems like Chronomancer kind of takes over the idea of cold, but probably I kind of assume it would actually be something more towards cold or something, because, or even physical maybe, but like I don't see it taking over fire, because with fire you basically have Infernalist, which probably should be more fire involved, but it's like something that they're not really doing too much of either. In general, fire needs a buff. Like, you know, that's not character specific. It can apply to a lot of ascendancies and a lot of builds. You can apply to Enchantress. It could apply to the Infernalist. It could apply to Warrior. You know, I think Smith and Katava could definitely use, like, if they're not going to make it the juggernaut of a defensive juggernaut, which I think that should go back to. So we're switching over to Warrior suddenly, starting with Smith and Katava, because it got because it was so well layered for defensive last league that they nerfed the shit out of it, so it wouldn't be quite the defensive juggernaut. But like, they didn't really do anything to boost its damage output to like make up for the fact that its defense sucked, and its damage output was never that good compared to other builds. So I'd like to see maybe like a 50% buff to the defenses, like for whatever they nerfed last league, like 50% of that, give that 50% of that back. And then, like, I'd like to see, like I said, fire is not necessarily ascendancy specific, but I'd like to see fire buffed in general, which would greatly benefit the Smith. Honestly, I would play a Smith again if it was as tanky and had a fire buff. had more fire buffs to it. Like if they announced that in a day and a half, you know, I wouldn't mind that. I kind of like warrior. I just don't. The other main drawback besides those is just slow. It's just slow, you know. If it wasn't slow, if it had better DPS, especially single target, and clearing, to be honest, though, and it also had, you know, the defenses that I previously had. I think that's asking a lot, though, all to get all that. I would play that. The Titan. Thing that I would change about Titan is I would make him faster. I honestly don't feel like Titan's all that bad. I feel like it's the most, has the best DPS, single target, like kind of DPS stuff of the warriors with like armor break and stuff. Armor break and both perfect strike and the camera of the gods. I would, you know what I would actually do? I would remove glory, or I would make the glory requirement toned down or something. Maybe they did that this league and I just didn't pay attention. I made a Titan, but I didn't take him so far that I ended up switching from perfect strike into camera of the gods, though. So I never encountered that. But like the build felt pretty solid. It was pretty, you know, pretty strong, pretty strong defensively, as strong as it needs to be anyway. And it was really good for bossing as far as like perfect strike goes. So yeah, I would also like speed is they're just so slow. Warriors are so slow. Warbringer, I honestly don't know enough about. I mean, I know it uses totems and things like that, and some people really like that build, but I don't know enough about it to offer too much insight as to what I would change. Leads us back to Witch now. What would I change on Witch? Like we have the Blood Witch, and Blood Witch needs like a Thule's nerf. Now there's kind of like a point earlier in this league where people were playing more Reap builds, which looked really cool, but it seemed like the interest died off. I don't know if it was because it was expensive or something, but maybe more of a something to incentivize both physical spills and like actually using like bleed on them, you know, as a blood mage. Making the fact that most of them are just running Spark is kind of a crime. I don't think they should not be able to run Spark. I just find it a little bit dumb whenever when they run Spark and the Stormweaver doesn't run Spark. Seems a little bit backwards. So yeah, I don't know. You know, I think that it's not like in a bad spot because it's so powerful as it is by being able to life stack. It's got like a pretty good defensive layer there. But what it definitely lacks in is living up to its namesake. So I would do that. I would find a way to allow it to live up to its name of the Blood Witch. So what's the 3 on that? Infernalist. I don't know enough about Infernalist. I know a lot of people don't run demon form, which seems to be like kind of the main thing you would want to do there. Um, so maybe that would be the answer. Make demon form not last like whatever 5 seconds or whatever the fuck it is. I also think, like I said, fire. I think making fire damage more interesting for more builds maybe would get people to run in Infernalist if Infernalist can have some sort of a fire effect to it. But then we're also like, you know, how many builds need fire? I mean, I guess that's only realistically Warrior and Infernalist, like Smithikatava and Infernalist, and then I think that like there should be some sort of benefit for the Witch as well to run like Comet and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe the main change would be just to make Demon Form a little bit more incentivized, because it doesn't seem all that exciting to like basically pay into a build, pay into an ascendancy with so many points just to get the demon form, which does seems like pretty lackluster. I don't know. It's not a fan favorite build. It does seem like a lot of people like to run it for minions, which again I feel like is kind of backwards. I don't like have a problem with it though, because it does, you know, it's in the same spot as the Lich and everything, so you know, it has its benefits, I guess, over the Lich, but the Lich does still seem like somewhat more superior for running. I don't want to say superior, but still popular. Probably more popular in my mind than Infernalist for minions, because of its high defensive capabilities with its energy shield stacking. Lich, I think, needs better chaos skills, not just better chaos skills. Chaos needs like better, more powerful chaos skills, because right now you just have Essence Strain and Contagion, which I actually think is really good. It's just slow, especially in further into the end game. It's a slow way to get through a map. So I think giving the Lich something more to do with chaos, so it's not so much just Essence Strain or Contagion and Summoners. But I don't think Lich is in like the worst spot of all the builds. It could just be pretty greatly improved with a change to chaos damage and skills. Last one being Huntress. Huntress right now is in the doghouse. And honestly, I don't know how you fix it. I didn't play Huntress last league. Didn't play it this league, so not an expert with Huntress either. I know that, like, you know, one of the keys is like, to be honest, I don't know what they nerfed, if they nerfed anything directly about like the Huntress and its ascendancies. I know that it was sort of like accuracy stacking to like boost its damage or boost its crit or something. And obviously like nerfing things like Tangle Tongue hurt it a little bit, but like Tangle Tongue wasn't its main feature, because it didn't have the accuracy. It just had good crit. So maybe it was, you know, or I should say Amazon, not Huntress. But, and honestly, I'm not sure how much it's changed about Ritualist. I think Ritualist is actually relatively decent. It can do stat stacking. It can copy what a lot of other builds nearby on the passive tree can do, but it's able to be a little bit, have a little variation to it, because it does have 3 rings, and it does have the ability to boost all jewelry, like benefits. Plus you can use Ingenuity, so it can really boost things like stats and flat damage to the moon. I guess like there was the Whirlwind Slash. I think that was primarily Ritualist. they pretty much destroyed that build. They made it totally invalid for most people. For most, you know, I don't exactly know what how that build was built out. But I do hate whenever a entire skill and build are invalidated. So bringing it back so it was a less powerful version of itself would probably sit well with me. Just because I can't think of anything else that the ritual necessarily needs changed about it. I think the ritualist could use more. I know, you know, I was gonna say like some change, like some sort of ascendancy change up, but realistically, between the you're kind of a fool if you choose anything besides like the boost to the node, boost to your jewelry and stuff like that. So you kind of, which is good. It's not like, you know. So yeah, that would be most of my changes. I'm trying to think of other new builds. Like, I mean, I guess you have like the idea of like the martial artist coming to monk. I'd like to see that one. I'd like to see it be able to support. Actually, I'd like to be able to see it. I'd like to see it support Hollow Palm more so than Invoker. But like really, what I'd like to see is I'd like to see it be able to basically support any weapon type. Like it should have like mastery of any type of weapon. I think that would be pretty cool. Like making maybe like a Smith of Katava, where you could use like a white weapon and then like add affixes to it in the ascendancy. I think that could be very cool. I mean, I really did like the concept of the Smith of Katava. It was really cool. But they butchered it. Fun was detected. So yeah, so we went over like rarity. We need more difficulty in pinnacles. Honestly, we need more difficulty in mapping. Like I think that like, yeah, I don't know how you would like we need more difficulty in mapping, but we need commensurate reward, because right now it's like to the point where like people were able to get a whole lot out of like tier 7 maps. And lower tier maps, you can basically get everything that you want out of those without some level of difficulty at all. So maybe it's coming with this league with the potential of double corrupt, which seems like something that's likely to happen, like very likely. Perhaps double corrupting maps to get tier 17s, but at the same time, like I don't even like corrupting maps to get 16s. Early in the league, I was trying to get all of my boss points, and for some reason I had this idea that you needed to do a tier 16 map on a +1 monster level area. So I had a +1 monster level area, and I just kept corrupting maps to try to get a tier 16 so I could run it and hopefully get my boss points. And I could not get a tier 16. So the idea of getting like a tier 17 just seems like extraordinarily fucking low. Or a tier 17 seems to be like disgustingly low. Like what you would get out of it would have to be like amazingly high, you know, amazingly worthwhile. Like I literally corrupted I think over 40 maps before I got a tier 16. And I know that that's probably an outlier, but it made me not want to corrupt maps for the rest of the league, and I've lived up to I have, you know, upheld that. And then it turned out that I actually didn't need level 82 map at all. So it was just a big waste of time. I don't know why I had it in my head. I think it was just because my brain was fried from sleeping very little. My brain was just fried, and I just wanted to. I wanted that to be the case. Maybe that was one of the. Maybe you needed to do that the previous league or something. But either way, I was very upset with my corruption rates. Hey, it's 30 or so chaos. And sell my ones from last night though, so maybe the price has gone down from 35. Should drop it to 30. See, my problem is that like I'll drop it to 30 and then I'll have like 5 people in my hideout literally fist fighting for them at that rate. I mean, I guess that's better than not selling them, but you know, I was thinking about it, those ritual tablets, and I was like, why is everyone putting rituals on them? I was like, what is the benefit here? Is everyone just going for omens? Because, like, omens aren't worth that much. Like, they are, but, like, not to the point where you could, like... I mean, the only thing that I could see is that people are putting one ritual tablet in just to have rituals on their map, and then they are using the delirium that boosts precursor drops to try to drop ritual precursor tablets, and then it ends up just being kind of like a weird circle jerk where everyone is just like using rituals to get ritual tablets so they could get ritual tablets and sell ritual tablets, like, and it, because like the omens, and like, you know, occasionally you get an omen. I'm not saying you don't get an omen, but like the cost of like the increased omen drop ones just really low. Hey, we got a crappy mana flask. I don't get a lot of these mana flasks, to be honest with you, though, so it is kind of exciting to get one. Evasion, crap. Melting Maelstrom. Okay. We will corrupt some more maps. Or, not corrupt maps. Roll some more maps, I should say. Let's check. See, do we want to buy this bow? So it's confusing. This guy's got a bow up here. It has 410 to 687 physical damage, but it has the 54% physical damage runes in it. But if we just go across the board, its combined physical damage percentage is something like, what does mine come up to? It's like 4% higher than mine. Not great, but the physical damage is a 33 to 65, so that is relatively significant. And it has a perfect crit chance, but like, it's 250. I need the runes for it still. I don't really necessarily need it, but it's only 250. I would have 150 left over, but I'd end up spending 40 or so more for the archery runes. I don't know, what do you think? Worth it at the end of the league just for flexing? Let's see, let's go look at these. Let's go with our delirium. So you need 12 paranoias.
I'll fill that in as soon as I can.
We also need to go to omens. Okay, let's get our maps. Do another set of 10. Activate that. And make sure we are at zeros. Yep. Okay. Okay. Now we need our tablets. What do we need? Probably. I don't think we ended up with any good rare monster ones. Let's slam our precursors though. Got a lot of them. Let me make sure there's no good rare monster ones as it is. Let's also make sure we don't have to. Ugh, waste on quantity. I mean, I don't even know. Rarity. Okay, these are all getting slammed. Hopefully we get a good rare monster tablet out of it. Gotta mix up the formula. Go horizontal for some of them. Okay, let's see, guys. Crap. Okay. Tetris block style here. Okay. 30% rare monsters isn't terrible. I usually get, but you know what? Honestly, it's not good. Like a 30% is like 2 chaos. So like realistically, like buying that is just super affordable. 30% rarity, but quantity of waystones on it too is ass cheeks. So do I have any more in here? I got one more I can slam. Okay, we got one more slam. One reforge in a dream, guys. I mean, let's hit it with the good one. Hoodwinked. Let's grab this guy. What's he at? Okay, so we're actually gonna come over here. We're gonna change these to 30. go into our damn 2 additional rare monsters in a fucking map is now extraordinarily expensive. One is only 15 chaos though, so we can definitely handle that. Yeah, we can get 2 of those for 30. 1 second, I'll be right back. Gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, we're back. So we are looking forward. Where is this guy? Oh, there it is. Boom. Do one more. This one has 13 uses. Ooh. What is this? I don't even know how you get 13 uses, but okay. Oh wow, nice. So I ordered a desk and monitor and stuff so we can get our um, let's see, so I can get my PC set up now that I'm one of those guys who has one of those things. And the desk wasn't supposed to be here until next week, but it looks like it's gonna show up tomorrow, which is perfect because then I can set that up and have it ready for Thursday, which is when the other stuff is going to be here, so that's going to be a little dicey. As far as the reveal and everything, I might end up watching part of it while I'm driving to pick the stuff up, because I have it shipping somewhere else. Because my apartment absolutely is not, it's not a good place to ship things to. But yeah, if that shows up tomorrow, that's crazy. I mean, it's not that surprising because it's only, 1 state away. Okay, so I only want to spend 7 on. I don't think I have any more in my stash. Oh, actually, we can do this. I hope this guy doesn't mind that I'm using his Ange.
All right, your order is registered.
So we got 32, 32. Yeah, we'll do this one. So yeah, I'll be able to set that up, have it ready for Thursday so that I could just get that stuff put over. Honestly, like, I won't have time to actually set everything up, unfortunately. It'd be nice to be able to go over the patch notes, like, on screen with everybody, but we're probably just going to have to use our imaginations, which isn't ideal, but I'm sure we'll be going over them more than once, or, you know, a little bit here and there otherwise. Alright, so where are we at? We have 405 divine right now. We're basically rich. So I say we go to this mine shaft first. But also it's kind of funny, the monitor that I ordered it through Amazon. They're both all through Amazon, but one of these ones are monitor was from was a Prime stuff. The desk was not on Prime, and the desk is going to be here a day earlier. Amazon Prime is potentially a scam. Okay, ancient bone time, guys. Not even close. Think, what other changes do we need? Endgame changes. PoE2 needs endgame changes. Obviously, that's what the patch is about. But what specific endgame changes does it really need, like prioritized? I think the number one that sticks out is, other than pinnacles, because we already talked about pinnacles and Ubers and stuff. And honestly, I would put this one potentially above those in a lot of ways, because we spend most of our time realistically mapping, not Ubering. Is we need changes to the Atlas, the Atlas passive tree. It's pretty lackluster. It's always been a bit lackluster. So I'd like to see that get a little bit of a boost. We got 37 seconds on this. Let's go down here and kill the bosses while we're fucking invincible. Okay, invincible kill. Cool. Yeah, the passive tree is pretty boring. Basically, you set it up for increasing map effect as soon as you get strong enough to do that. Anything else is kind of a waste. Like, you're definitely just not getting the most you can out of your map. And so that kind of takes like the choice out of it. Like, you don't really have choices to make. You basically just have to get strong enough to be able to do that. Like, the most like interesting time for the map is before you actually get strong enough to do that. So like, where you could actually potentially, hey, like a fire flower. I want the fire flower, damn it. Uh, so like before you're actually strong enough, then you actually do have choices to make, but those choices mostly just amount to, do you want to do strong boxes or do you want to do essences? At least to me, like those are the only two true choices. And realistically, I think the better choice is essences. I don't think that strong boxes are bad. I just feel like essences have a better return. Um, you know, a lot of essences, especially early in the league, are worth at least multiple exalts. So you run, you get a lot of essences, you stack them up. The better ones are worth more. You know, occasionally you will get a corrupted one, and then at the end of the day or the end of so many maps, you can exchange out your lower essences for exalts and upgrade those into chaos, and upgrade the chaos eventually into divines. Like that's pretty much the strat that I kind of think is best whenever you're not strong enough for map boost. Or explicit boost is what I should say. So yeah, some changes there. I don't know exactly what I would think would actually change there though. Maybe like biome specific changes would be cool. Um, Damn, one more. I mean, it's a +3. Damn, it's not even a +5. I mean, we'll mess with it later. Throw it in there because it still needs another fire catalyst. 3 rare chests. Awesome, said nobody. Let's put these in order real quick. Okay, mineshaft. Anything good? Do 32. Like biome specific changes I think would be pretty cool though. So we'll just go deliberation. Potentially incorporating I mean maybe just visually and stuff, maybe incorporating, well, I guess it's not even just visually, but if you incorporated the endgame mechanic trees into the main tree, so that you would actually have to sort of path over to different mechanics, could be interesting. Potentially the inclusion of Abyss on there as well, an Abyss tree, would be cool. I think all those things would be good to mix it up, especially since we've been basically playing the same tree with very little changes. Since the game released a year ago. Look at that, bam. It's all worth it. Is there anybody here? I think local knowledge is kind of a bunk node. I know a lot of people use it to farm, but they get good results without it. So I feel like taking local knowledge away, which is kind of like a biome specific one, and use other nodes that can boost biome drops and things like that could be cool. Like separately. I've had lots of people ask me like why I don't use local knowledge. I'm like, because my favorite maps seem to be desert maps, so you wouldn't use it anyway. And because when I have used it for swamp maps, which I hate swamp maps actually, I think swamp maps are my least favorite maps, I haven't noticed a huge difference. I'm sure there are some people who have done all sorts of spreadsheeting and would show you that it does work and is great, but not my experience. Especially not worth like stopping every few maps and switching it back and forth is definitely not my thing. So where is, I only got one, it's down there. Okay, let's take the checker point. Oh my god, it's not over there at all. Okay, we're going for a walk, guys. Let's switch over to got a researchers there. Might as well just start that. Fucking inscribed ultimatum, my least favorite thing to get out of a fucking researcher's strongbox. I guess that and Barrios. Yep. It's gonna be fun. Got the big reveal in just like probably a day and 15 hours or somewhere in that range. So we're gonna find out exactly what we're gonna be playing too, or not exactly, but we'll have more insight on what it's gonna be like. So that should be really fun. Yeah, I'm hoping for it, especially for endgame. I'm hoping the endgame is all sorts of mixed up. Yeah, I feel like they've teased divination cards for a while, but I almost like, I don't know, like, I don't know when to expect divination cards. Would be nice though. I agree that I'd like to see these divination cards. I didn't really play PoE 1, so I only have a limited knowledge of how divination cards work. But I know that like for a lot of like boss kill events and things like that, they've been using them for like rewards. Like you get to like, I don't know if it was design them or whatever the hell it was, but they've kind of teased them at least through that means. So hopefully we get more things. I mean that would be constitute realistically an endgame change. So it's definitely in the cards, no pun intended. Yeah, there's, and honestly, like I feel like there's going to be some surprises with this league because like a lot of the stuff they planned on implementing was already like half done. Like Druid was like mostly done from what we know. And like these endgame changes, like as far as like the towers and stuff, they already implemented them in 0.3 and they even said that they were expecting to implement it in 0.4. So a certain amount of the changes were like half done, we'll say, at least half done. So there could be a whole lot more other things that they haven't announced or haven't necessarily set a date on. I'm also expecting potentially the Trials of the Ancestors, which could be cool. I don't know anything about Trials of the Ancestors, or it might not resemble what they did in PoE 1 at all, but we could have a third trial as well, which they said that they wanted in 0.3, but it didn't make it in. I mean, they have the whole area in like set up in the fourth act, so we could see that too. That'd be okay. Hey, a cartographers. Yeah, so yeah, we could definitely see something like that. Seems like everyone is circling things like incursion for the end game potential league. Um, so that would be, from what I know, that seems like a pretty cool league mechanic, you know. And like having Ed Zero, hopefully when if they add Ed Zero as a boss, it's actually a difficult boss. I want to see upgrades to the boss difficulties for sure. They basically removed a tier of the bosses and, you know, didn't replace it with anything. So like all the bosses were just easier this league. But I mean, I guess it kind of doesn't matter because what they drop is not very awesome. Yeah, I'm sure it's not going to be exactly the same. It also seems like there's a good chance it's going to have like lore implications as well. Um, which is cool that they're like, because Abyss didn't really have a lot of lore implications. So like finding a way to advance the story a little bit while they're not actually adding an act would be kind of cool. Hey, you got one of these things again. That's a really good one. Do I have caster ones? Pulled one off. Which one's the caster? I don't have any of the caster ones. I should buy them. Because that's a really good ring. Yeah. Well, and only for a little bit. I'm going to be switching to PC soon. Got a PC on Black Friday. Modder and desk and stuff are showing up this week, so probably only be doing it till next week. I'll probably, hopefully, have everything set up over the weekend. But it's not that bad, honestly. You know, could be worse for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Should be really cool. I have not played.
I'll fill that in as soon as I can.
Yeah, honestly, like it would, like if the game was optimized better and they had um, keyboard mouse support as well, like you could kind of like double up on it and like use it for inventory, I'd have much less reason to want to upgrade. I need a couple more. What do I want to do? I can do, turn this greater exalt into a greater. And we should be able to get a couple more.
Let's see if they have any
There we go.
takers.
Okay. Now we need a corruption omen. Damn it. Everything's expansive. What do I got here? Need 6 or whatever. That's not too bad though. What's this? 25. Okay. I get it, guys. I get it. I'm broke. Well, I guess we can just do this for now. That's still not worth it. Well, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just do one of these. And then we will get our goddamn ritual. Or corruption omen. Fuck it, we'll buy 2. Let's hope and pray. Okay, that's pretty good. So it went up on the critical hit chance, but still over 50, still pretty close to the cap. I mean, it dropped it, but like, I mean, that's pretty good. I think people would be happy with that. 14 on the chaos res. Yeah, maybe. I don't think anyone cares about that ring anymore, but looks good. We're at that point of the league where uniques have no value, really, other than very few. But I gotta stay sharp with my corrupting, you know. Gotta keep practicing crafting and corrupting things. Alright, so we are moving on to... Oh shit, that's not connected, huh? Damn it. So we're gonna have to go all the way through here. I hate Mire. Okay, at least I like Confluence. Confluence is nice. Yeah, I'm hoping, one of my big hopes is for new ascendancies. I think there's a good chance that we get 3 full ascendancies, because we got 3 ascendancies when they dropped the Huntress as well. Yeah, Confluence is nice. It's dense, small, not overly obstructed. I'm not sure it's my favorite, but it's up there for sure. It's probably in like a top 5 for me. I have a lot more maps that I don't like than maps that I do like at this point, though. Yeah, this is I just like that it's you know, there's no surprises with this map. They could flip it and it wouldn't matter. Yep, an element, nice. Something. It's nice because you can just like hit the breaches and not worry about like unveiling the whole map because there's nothing to get in your way. Always like that. Unlike things like Morrow, which is nothing but dead ends. I hate maps with a lot of jagged features, like jagged terrain features that I get stuck on. That's like my #1 pet peeve. Actually, maps that just don't drop anything. There are some maps I've just pegged as being like super not valuable to run. Like Epitaph. I run Epitaph and I like the layout of Epitaph, but I like never drop shit in Epitaph, so I just don't run it at this point. It's like the bane of, it's like me versus Epitaph. Okay, that looks pretty clean. Pretty cleared. Okay. What do we got? Oh. Thought I hit that shrine already. Okay, down to just 11 monsters. Probably right over here. There we go. Yeah, right. kill this here boss. We are officially at 33% towards 99. We're not going to hit 99 this league, but it's fun to fun to keep track of. I didn't even see the Twilight Key. Let's go run that Twilight Key. Let's go get our quarterstaff. I've yet to pull anything good out of the Twilight Reliquary. Would be nice. Would love to get my Astromantis today. I mean, I'd take a Headhunter too, but I'm less interested in the Headhunter at this point. It's only worth like, what, 3 div, 4 div at this point. Maybe it's going up. Random stuff is going back up in value right now. Hey, nothing nobody wants. Okay. Meyer, Hidden Grotto. Okay. Then after we finish these maps up, we will run some pinnacles. We got this one, and then 6 more, and then we'll run a Delirium, and we'll run. And we've already got 2 Twisted Domains, it looks like. But yeah, tomorrow I'll probably be taking off stream, just because we're gonna be on stream for a while on Thursday, talking about the patch notes and stuff like that. Get a little day off, go pick up my desk hopefully, and be able to get that assembled. So this weekend we can just start setting up the PC. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of troubleshooting. And the one thing I don't remember quite exactly is whenever they release new supporter packs, because I am going to have to purchase a new supporter pack because I'm switching to PC, so all my MTX will be wiped. So I need a supporter pack so I can get stash tabs. And I also want one with a hideout. The question is, that I was wondering is, do the supporter packs go on sale before the league starts, or do they go back on sale right when the league starts? I do not remember. Probably when the league starts. I assume it's when the league starts, but just want to kind of get that over with. Yeah, and I think it actually is fine with Xbox, or like certain more of it is fine with Xbox. It's like a Sony thing more than it's not a GGG thing. Because like I'm pretty sure people on Xbox don't have a problem with it. So my bad, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish everything transferred. That'd be nice. Maybe that's what they'll announce. They'll announce that everything will transfer if you switch. That'd be the #1 quality of life thing that I would love to see, especially just given my current circumstance. Fortunately, I don't have to buy another code. I know somebody or another key. I know someone with a couple spare keys that I'll be able to use one of those. But yeah, the losing the hideout and the stash tabs is the big one. I will say a lot of the stash tabs I don't really use a shit ton of, ton of the time. Like I don't get like max benefit out of them. Like I feel like my ritual tab is always like 90% empty because whenever I need a ritual, I just buy it and use it immediately. And like the delirium one, I mean it's useful. Delirium is useful and everything, but again, like I get delirium, I get the ones that I want. I sell the ones I don't want, and then I only have to store like 2 types of delirium. So I don't really need to get all of them right away, but I'll definitely need like at least a merchant tab, a quad tab, currency tab, map tab. Those are the, you know, map tab and currency tab are the big ones really. I mean, like I probably don't need the socketables one, but it might still be good to have just because there's a growing number of socketables at this point. The socketables are mostly just things I don't use. Like I use them, you know, pretty sparingly. Like if we're just being honest with our usage of things here. Okay. Oh, I haven't even looked at the rituals. Okay, so let's go to the last 2 rituals. Oh, there's one down there too, but I think yeah, I can just checkpoint down to it from the boss checkpoint. Yeah, I know that like a lot of people were hoping we would get more crafting options with the new league. Like a lot of people were like, hoping Delve or even Bestiary and things like that, given the Druid for Bestiary and stuff. But I'm hoping that they still find a way to expand the crafting options for sure, because Abyss going away is going to feel like a pretty big void there. But also, if they make it so that you can put Abyss on your maps with precursors, I think that'll actually deal with most of that problem. I don't know. I'm interested in seeing, because like, you know, normally at least I see in like PoE1 all the time. Uh, yeah, it's going core. I just don't know like what if they're going to like how they're going to make it available. Like, is Abyss only going like are we going to get Abyssal overrun maps? So they're just like yeah, I've seen that. Are they going to make Abyssal overrun maps like the only way to do Abysses? I don't think that they would do that, but like, or were they going to basically give us a precursor tablet? And if they're going to give us a precursor tablet, can they please give us a precursor stash tab? Because that's a big one. We need a fragments tab. But yeah, if that's the case, I actually don't see the Abyss crafting materials going too high in price. Because like I feel like right now most people are running like an irradiated and then like either breach or ritual, and usually it's like 2 of either or. And I feel like you would just like swap out one of your like I would swap out one of my if they made them precursors right now, I would just have 1 breach, 1 abyss, 1 irradiated, and that's how I'd run all my maps. So I'd still probably have a shit ton of the crafting material, except I've been complaining about this consistently. The Ancient Bones. Early in the league, I would get an Ancient Bone every couple of days. I have not seen an Ancient Bone in over a month, buddy. Have not seen one. It's not for my lack of playing either. I play this game constantly. I feel like they just they just straight up nerf the drop rates of the Ancient Bones. Yeah, man, I haven't seen one in a month in over a month. Okay, and furthermore, since I've had one, I have dropped a Hynocora's Lock, 2 Golden Charms, 2 Dialia's Desires, and you know I've had like insane. You know, I dropped a Comb's Heart and a fault of Kamasa. But like early in the league, I was dropping them, not like, it wasn't like they were all over the place, but I'd drop one every couple of days if I was running like 30, 40 maps a day. Yeah, now they're just like non-existent. I keep forgetting to actually check the cost on them. I wanted to check how much they cost at the currency exchange, because that would actually probably confirm how much the drop rates have been nerfed on them. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure my first ancient, like, rib I got, and it wasn't even, I don't even think it was a tier 15 map. I think it was like maybe a tier 14 map or something. So yeah, they did something. Glad to hear that other people have felt that, because it was a pretty stark difference, you know? It's one thing whenever you're not, like, playing the game a lot and you don't necessarily know if they changed something, but, like, whenever you have gotten, like, 5 or 6, you know, bones within the first, like, you know, few weeks, and then you go to just getting none for a month and you haven't really stopped playing. Oh yeah, I'd sell them too. I just want to see it though. I would totally sell it. I just want to see it drop at this point. I don't really need anything at this point. I just want to see certain things hit the ground. There's a lot of items been thinking about, not a lot, but there's a few items I haven't seen drop yet, which is just kind of weird. Like I haven't dropped a Last Lament all league. I mean, not that it's common, but like I've dropped a lot of rare stuff, so not getting a Last Lament is interesting. I've never dropped a Kalandra's Touch Ring. I've never dropped a Tabula Rasa. So I would just like to see some of these things drop, honestly. I've never corrupted a. You know, I didn't make a point of it, but I haven't corrupted a Hand of the Dreamer either. I think every time I get one, I obviously corrupt it, but like, is it an 8? 7.9. I don't know why, but I keep like I always have at least one of these fucking Tangle Tongues, and I just keep upgrading, and when it gets better. And that one's actually the best one I've had. Gotta corrupt it and go for the overclock. Okay. I haven't even been looking. Okay. Oh, good. Is this the 2 more? Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see an Ancient Rib drop. Pretty much nothing else is like I thought you would, honestly, like, I thought that I would get, like, a rib for every, like, 2 to 3 Omens of Light, but, like, that has not been. I've probably had 10 Omens of Light, or more than 10 Omens of Light since I had my last Ancient Bone. And I've had at least one of each. I've had, like, probably 3 Ancient Ribs, an Ancient Jawbone, and an Ancient Collarbone. At least that many, like, earlier in the league. Just off the top of my head. This is worth a little bit. Ugh. Hit it with that double defer. Alright, let's go kill this boss. Switch over Deliberation. Get rid of those. No one needs those. No one ever needed those. Oh my god. On to the next. Let's go look at the price of those ancient bones right now. They've got to be like through the roof. I can't imagine that they're not, unless simply people just aren't using them. Um, which I could see. They're kind of a scam. Okay, so the ancient jawbone is 5.5. Okay, like that's not as high as it's been. Yeah, they're not actually that high. So like maybe it's just that Jonathan and Mark are nerfing me personally. I've had my suspicions. It's got to be it. There's no way it's anything other than them personally reaching into my game and making it so I can't have that. It's a guarantee. Dude, these are so expensive right now. Like, I don't even know I'm doing this, but I am. They seriously were. They were like, he's got enough. He doesn't need any more. Oops. 15% physical damage? I mean, yeah, that's pretty good for a fucking Tangle Tongue. Put it in here. We'll get rid of these shitty ones. These garbage. No one wants these. Okay. 4 more maps. 2 of them are going to be overruns. Let's hope. So we got Bloodwood. I like Bloodwood more, so we'll put the better one in the Bloodwood. Like, there was like a random stretch where I didn't get an Omen of Light for a while, and then they started to come back, but like, you know, there's 3 different types of ancient bones. Not getting any of them just seems a little bit wild. Like I've probably done like probably like 50 Abyssal Overrun maps plus an Abyss on every map. Just seems a little, and I've got, you know, almost 140 rarity plus my golden charm, so over 150 rarity with that. Plus I've got, you know, I've got no reason not, you know, I'm running, you know, if we just, I'll stop for a second and check my numbers, but like there's plenty of rarity on the maps. $235 rarity, 194 rare monsters. Like that's plenty. That's plenty rarity. Like whenever I dropped them before, I'm pretty sure I had like literally no rarity on anything. I was just raw dogging it and dropping shit. Where's my stuff? Oh great, an expedition. If there's one mechanic, like existing mechanic, that needs an overhaul, it is Expedition. Expedition is absolute shit. Hey, two Abyssal Echoes, at least. At least they gave me 2. Oh yeah. Don't even get me started, you know, I played Diablo 2 when I was very young, and I have done thousands of Countess runs in my day. And I've gotten very few awesome runes. Like, I was that person with, like, a teleport sorceress, and, like a, you know, spark sorceress, teleport, whatever the fuck they called it, and a map hack, and I would just go right to the countess, kill it. I would do that all goddamn day. I'd do that for a week and not get shit. Hey, we got that at least. At least when you did like bail runs, occasionally you'd get like a cool unique item or a, you know, set piece item or something like that. Running Countess is absolutely felt so bad. Yeah, it was really bad for that for runes. But you know, I did like the concept of like rune words. I would not, I would not mind if they did something like that in PoE, just because I like the concept of like actually the socketables actually being able to go like have like beast mode socketable things. I think that would just be kind of cool, but I doubt we'll see that or anything like it. I mean, I guess I've heard, I mean, I don't know, I'm not an expert on PoE 1, but that like some people have related like fossils somewhat to it, but not really. Not rune words, but just having more powerful socketable kind of a thing. But yeah, I liked rune words. Even though they were really hard to make, it was fun to try. It gave you something to go for. It gave you something to strive for. Um, you know, but occasionally, you know, you'd make friends with somebody and they would just give you a rune word that was epic. Like, I remember I had somebody who I befriended and he just gave me a shit ton of fucking good stuff. Um, what was it? 1 second. Yeah, the Enigma one. Yeah, I think that's the only one that I ever crafted well myself. But like I had uh, like a warrior with like a Breath of the Dying axe and stuff like that, and that was just like straight up given to me by somebody. Someone who took pity on me. They're like, "Wow, you fucking you poverty player." Okay, that was not the best map for abysses, but that's fine. We already dropped the Dialia's Desire on the first breach we did today. The breach, Twisted Domain. So we don't really need to drop anything awesome anymore. We dropped all the awesome already. It also kind of makes me wonder if like I know the RNG for things like runes is really bad, but like would it feel as bad now that I've just sort of embraced the whole farming mentality of PoE, or would it still feel like shit? I guess like in PoE, it's like kind of hard to target farm most things unless it's from like a pinnacle drop. You don't really target farm much. So we've got two. We're gonna run. Let's run this because we just got the statue. Why not? The idol, whatever they want to call it. Crap. Crap. I mean, honestly, I don't care about these things anymore. True. True. Yeah, I played so much Diablo when I was a young boy. Um, I couldn't imagine going back to it. Like, I think about it and like such fond memories, but I know it doesn't like, you know, after you're playing something like PoE, it's just not gonna it's not gonna feel as good. Like effectively like running the same like parts of the campaign over and over again would just probably be pretty maddening. I didn't play as much D3. I attempted D4 recently. Like after I started, like I was playing PoE2 and I was in between leagues, between like 0-1 and 0-2, and I was like, let's try D4. I guess it can't. How bad can it be? Um, and I think I maybe put 8 hours into it, and I was like, this is not fun. Just felt like I was going from like location to location and just like, I don't know, like just mindlessly button mashing shit. Okay, switch over to deliberation. Ugh. I also haven't dropped in uh, Elatuli's bloodletting either this league, so unfortunate. Let's go do the rituals and such. Yeah, I played Diablo 3 when it was launched, but I did not play it for like extended periods. I was kind of into other games at the time. I started to get into a lot of other games. However, I will say Diablo 3 was the reason why I built my first PC. Like I built a PC that could play Diablo 3. Um, but I ended up not playing it all that much and playing like other stuff. I did hear like a lot of the later like expansions and stuff for Diablo 3 were very good though. mean, people still do play Diablo 3. I mean, I guess people still play Diablo 2. It was funny, a few months ago, I found a Diablo 2 battle chest that I had not redeemed the code on. Like, I still have it, just chilling there with all the with the strategy guide and everything. From like, yeah, I like set items. I always liked them, even if like they weren't the best items. It was always cool to get like full sets. That's something I also like wish that they had in PoE, even though it's like, you know, probably not coming in. I like set items. I thought they were cool. Yeah, it's hard. Definitely aspects of D2. It's very hard to top. Like, there's a lot of good things. Like, obviously, it was the base of all of these games. So yeah, kind of hard to top in that regard. Thought there was a golden. Oh, there is. It's over there. Let's go here. Let's go with. Wait, do I still have one? No, we're good. Switch to deliberation. Mostly because it's just kind of flat, I think. Like, I played it and I just couldn't get into it as much. It just feels like it doesn't have... like, nothing feels really, like, impactful about it. I don't know. The skill trees are really barren. Like... it's also, like, just comparing it to PoE is just, makes it hard. If it was the only game out there, it's a different story. Oh yeah, I don't play mobile games, generally speaking. Occasionally I will play something stupid, like I'll download one for, you know, a week and play it or something, but nothing that's like gonna siphon my money. I'd rather give my money for real games. But I've known people that have put a lot of money into Diablo Immortal and other things. I used to have a manager at my job who, what did he play? It wasn't a mobile game, but he was deep into paying for Star Citizen. He was always trying to get me to play 2, and I'm like, absolutely not. That is just a money hole. Nice guy, but Star Citizen's funny. Star Citizen's what happens whenever you put like all of like the like you just have MTX. You just create MTX with no content in the game. It's like buy a $10,000 fucking spaceship to do no missions. Oh man, I hate seepage. If it drops me a divine really quick, I'll reevaluate, but I hate seepage. I hate really closed-in maps, though, to be honest. Seepage is just one of those ones where I feel like I never drop anything good from, though. Feels like oddly not dense. Where's my overrun? Okay, there's my overrun. Yeah, I was in a PoE guild earlier, up for the first couple leagues, up into like midway through 0.3, and our leader, our guild leader, was a Diablo Immortal person, and they had spent, I don't want to say exactly what they did, because I don't remember, but it was in the tens of thousands of dollars on it. Yeah, and I was just like, that's actually crazy. Like, I'm a couple $100, like, yeah, being a couple $100 into PoE, it feels like, I mean, it actually feels worth it, because I do get a lot of game out of this. It's a lot of game for the, like, I've got thousands of hours into PoE. So it doesn't actually feel that bad. But like 10K, like, or more, like, imagine you're just like, I can't imagine like working and just thinking about like, this is all going into Diablo Immortal, a fucking mobile game. Like, and that's not to knock them, I just can't imagine it for myself. You know, if they can get all that enjoyment out of it, or, you know, they have enough money to throw around, that's fine. I don't really care, but just seems actually crazy to put that much into, like, in a, you know, but I have heard some people say that, like, they like Diablo Immortal better than Diablo 4 for various reasons. You know, I can't exactly imagine why. Maybe it's just because it's, you can basically pay to win on it, and that's kind of fun for them, but like, but yeah. Yeah, I didn't really get much out of Diablo 4 when I played earlier this year. I went out and bought it, spent like 50 some dollars on Diablo Immortal, or not Diablo, on Diablo 4, and I was just kind of like, it's a game, you know? Like, I'd almost rather play D2 Resurrected, I guess. I thought it'd say exceptional precursor tablet. I was gonna be like, what the fuck is exceptional precursor tablet? Like, that sounds like fake news. Where are you, Kosis? There he is. He's lost. He's looking for me too. Oh God, chaos barrages, please God. Okay, we're out of monsters. We just have the boss. Let's do the breaches first. Actually, I need to overlay for this shit. Yeah. Yeah, that's just like the mobile game hook too, you know? Um, I need a lot more, I need to be able to I need the hook to be like the gameplay and shit like that. Like at the very least with this game, it's not necessarily the gameplay, but it's like, you know, the aspect of that you can continually progress a character just through playing the game. The more I play the game, the more stuff I get. But like, I don't know. I don't know enough about Diablo Immortal. I don't know if you can, how much progress is like locked behind paying. But definitely from what I've been told, it seems like a vast majority of the speed of progression would be locked behind paying. Alright, well we got a div out of it. We can't be too upset about that. Let's get them breach splinters. We got one more map after this. Yeah, and also this game they kind of always like whether it's like mid-league updates or just like waiting for the new league, they've done pretty good at like they keep the carrot on the stick right in front of you, you know. They don't give you too much room to and if you play PoE 1 as well, you can just jump between the two pretty seamlessly. I don't play PoE 1, but no, let's switch over to Deliberation so this guy doesn't murk me. Gotcha. Alright, we are done here. At least we got a div out of here. Kinda want this glass blower's bobble. Okay. Alright, where is... Do I have... I do. Okay. So we're going to take this, and we're going to make it real good for no reason. Oh, I'm out. Damn, need one more. Deal with that later. Alright, we've got one more map to run before we switch to our final pinnacles for the stream. Bloodwood, Augury, Epitaph. Epitaph is kind of the worst. Reduced rarity, ain't no one got time for that shit. Morrow, Meyer. I mean, maybe we'll run the Epitaph. It does have a powerful boss, which means absolutely nothing, but, you know. Every time I run this map, I hope I get something, but I know it's not happening. %34%. Let's switch over to Nova. Just get in there. Just get in there with Nova. Well, that's a lot of pits. This is not an overrun. What the hell? But do any of them have an ancient bone in them? That's honestly the only question I have. The answer is probably no. A preserved collarbone. It's like they wanted to give me something, but then they said, nah, fuck this guy.
Not that I know of, actually. I've never seen it, if they have. Funny, actually my first Diablo game, so like I saw like a friend play Diablo on his home computer. And I never played I didn't really play computer games like ever at that point. I just played kind of PlayStation and stuff. And I went to the game store and they had Diablo 1. And mind you, I saw someone playing Diablo 2. But they had Diablo 1 on PlayStation 1. And I bought it. And it was horrible because you basically just controlled the cursor with analog sticks. Absolutely horrible. Turns out that version ended up being worth a little bit of money later. Well after I got rid of it, but... Dude, they should do like a full revamp, full complete... I mean, like, I've heard people say that Diablo 1 is kind of like as far as like, you know, the place to start is very good, you know? You know, it created the vibe, right? Created the dark fantasy ARPG thing, you know? Right. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I didn't get very far. I pretty much went to the store like 2 days later um, and bought Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. The expansion had like just come out at the time. As expected, did not drop anything out of the epitaph. We'll see. We got one more chance with this breach. One breach and a dream. I guess I got a monolith too, but those pretty much never have shit. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, when I played Diablo 2, I definitely did play it on like dial-up, and it was total ass. Like I've joked that like I played that game for years, and I'd seen maybe Diablo and Bale move for like 3 frames, like because they would just be frozen like if you're especially if you're playing online, like it fucking wrecked the frame rate so much. It was like frames per minute, and the bosses died in like, you know, a couple of seconds. So every now and then you'd hit like a good streak, but for the most part it was pretty bad. But that just goes to show you how good the game was. That you could play that game on a garbage PC with dial-up internet and still enjoy yourself. The core of the game is just so good. Alright. That'll be it for maps. We'll jump into some couple pinnacles. Need 50 of these. Or 51, I should say. Start with our twisted domains. I didn't need to buy 50. God damn. Oh well. I think we're officially at like 1 day and like 16 hours, or 1 day 15 hours till the reveal. Oh yeah. I used to buy all sorts of horrible PlayStation games that were like on sale. But like looking back on them, they were horrible. But like they had like a certain charm to them that is like not replicated in today's games. Like I remember buying the game Boombots, which is like a fighting game, but it was like stop motion. I think it was created by the same guy who created Earthworm Jim. It was really cool. Wasn't very good, but like just the charm and the concept, and also like, you know, there weren't tons of options to buy all sorts of games. So like, you know, you kind of just bought what you bought and you just played it whether it was awesome or not. And I got to, you know, enjoyed the shit out of that game. Tons of games like that. Same with older systems too, Super Nintendo and stuff. You just like, you'd like rent a game based on how it looked on the shelf, and then you'd take it home and it'd be ass, but you'd have it for like 5 days or something, like 3 days or 5 days. So you just had to play it. It's like what you did, you know. One of my favorite games when I was much younger was Super Ghouls and Ghosts on SNES, and I used to rent it all the time, just because I liked the look of it. Like, I liked the look of it in the game, I liked the look of it on the shelf. Oh yeah, I used to get PlayStation Magazine. And honestly, like, I will say, like, having like PlayStation Magazine, you didn't need that many games. You got a demo disc every month, you know. And usually, like I had you know, I've got brothers, and we would play, like, if there was a fighting game on it, we'd get like 100 hours out of like, I remember getting like Ready to Rumble Boxing on like a PlayStation Magazine demo disc. And just like playing the shit out of that game. But yeah, those PlayStation Magazine demo discs were awesome. I'm sure they had them for PC and, well, probably not for Dreamcast, but and they obviously didn't have them for N64. Oh my god. I remember, what is it? Where did, man? So many good old games though of that era. Like the experimental era of 3D gaming. Like, was it like Castlevania 64? That was like one of my favorite games as well on N64. It's kind of jank, but at the same time it was also really awesome. And it had a cool story. Like, Castlevania games are awesome, but it was like the first one, I feel like that had like a bigger, better story to it. I remember having a demo disc with Medieval on it and Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver was also super cool. Yeah, Parasite Eve. Yeah, everything now definitely doesn't feel so experimental. I guess that's one thing that's kind of cool about PoE is it feels kind of experimental. Like every league feels like they're just kind of, you know, cobbling something together, and they've just gotten really good at it. Dude, Castlevania 64 was awesome. It was like, I feel like it was like the first game that was like somewhat complex for me to play. Like, and like I played it before I played other games. Like I played it before I played like Resident Evil or like Metal Gear Solid. And I remember it being like kind of like you really had to figure out what to do. Like it didn't feel super linear. Yeah, it was tough, but also like I just had the demo, so I only had so much time with it. It was one of those demos that like basically you got to like a certain point in the game and it just like there was just nothing like it was just like a fucking brick wall kind of a thing. Like you couldn't do anything else with it. But it was still super fun. They recently remade it or like ported it into like I think modern into like PS5 and stuff. That and the sequel, the Legacy of Kain, or whatever. Ugh, horrible drops. Maybe it's a perfect one that no one will still want. Nope. Yeah, a lot of old games are pretty hard. Like, I was saying, like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I've never gotten past like the 4th level of that game. I actually have I have it on, it's on like Switch Online or whatever, and I have a save state of it at like the 3rd level, and I have like the best armor and the best weapon, and I only save it whenever I get further without losing anything. Like it's that game is so stupid. It's so stupid hard, but it looks so cool. Just love that retro look, honestly. And I've beaten every Souls game, and Sekiro, and all these hard games, all these hard modern games. But going back to that game is a humbling experience anytime that I do it. Because it's got like 2 buttons, you jump and you hit things. And somehow I fail to do it. I fail to understand anything about that game. And I've seen people beat it no hit, so I know it's possible. And a lot of those people can't beat, Sekiro and all these other, modern games, but they can no hit Ghosts and Goblins and Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It's kind of funny. Hey, annulment. Not bad. Should have been a divine, though. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Use all the Game Genie cheats too. Even then, it's still kind of stupidly hard. Because like you have to beat it twice to beat it. Like you don't actually like at the very end. It's like, oh, it was all an illusion. You have to start it over and beat it again. And the second time you beat it, you have to have a specific weapon to actually kill the final boss and have it not send you to the end, and or send back to the beginning. And so like realistically, even if you had like invincibility, if you don't pick that weapon up, you can't beat it. Or if you pick up another weapon by accident and override the weapon, you will still not be able to beat it. It's horrible. But it's also kind of like the original like dark fantasy game, you know? Yeah, it was pretty unnecessarily hard. Like just the fact that it makes like the original one was on NES and it was you had to beat it twice. Like I'm pretty sure like that was just the gimmick. But in Super Ghouls and Ghosts, you had to beat the final boss with a very specific weapon, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it went something like that. But it looks cool, so like I said, like maybe once a year, I try to play it, and then I cry. Maybe I'll play it later this week, one morning, whenever I'm feeling extremely sad about things or something. Maybe when I'm having too good of a day and I need to be brought down a peg. Yeah, there's a lot of games that I could play that are difficult, but at least I could like feel like I'm getting further in them. You know, to its credit though, you know, you have a certain amount of lives, but if you just keep playing, if you just continue, it never takes you back to the beginning. Like you just lose your checkpoint in the level. So like you can kind of keep playing it forever. So the crazy thing is that it was originally for arcade. And I'm like, why the fuck would you spend all your money trying to beat this game in the arcade? That seems like that would be fucking crazy. Like I want to know that guy, the guy who beat Ghosts and Goblins in an arcade. Like just pumping quarters into it. Like that's they got to spend more money than people spend on Diablo Immortal trying to do that. 10K in quarters. Yay, nice. Ding ding. And we're happy. Yeah. For sure. or they just like have a game that's just like endless. Like if you think about like fucking Pac-Man or Donkey Kong, I know that those games aren't endless, but for your average person, they're basically endless. I think it's like your average player, if like Donkey Kong gets maybe like I think 2.5 minutes into it before they die, before they run out of their quarters or something. It's something insane like that. Like, um, they don't get very much time out of it. Yeah, old games were designed specifically to take your money. Like, 100%. Take your money in the shortest time possible, but make them fun enough that you keep playing. Okay. 4 more waves. Maybe we'll get nice and lucky. Get a diamond. Oh man, Area 51 actually did not eat a lot of quarters from me. You know why? Because I actually bought it on PlayStation. I had Area 51 on PlayStation and I memorized the game. So I would go to the arcade at the local like ice arena, and I would play, and I would look so cool because I just knew where everything was going to pop up. The PlayStation version, whenever you would beat it, it would just loop back to the beginning too. So I would just beat it like 5 times. It was like training to go be cool at the arcade. The one later one that was really a money sink for me though were the House of the Dead games and Carnival. I used to try to beat those games, and they took a lot of my money. But to be fair, they were both really fun. But yeah, if you could get like an arcade port of or a PlayStation port of an arcade game, you could look so cool whenever you went to the arcade in front of nobody that mattered. But it was cool though. Okay, was the last one? Last wave. Let's hope for something good. And we already got a div, so we're already happy enough, but closed helm. Exactly what everyone wants out of here. Awesome. Well, we're happy with our div. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen arcade emulators. I like me some retro games. Let's see, what do we got? Yes, Simpsons was pretty classic arcade. It was also on console, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time was a all-time favorite. Okay, what do we got? Anything else here? Let's see, let's check the trade site for a bow, see if anything's good here. Nothing new anyway. I don't think I ever played too much Mortal Kombat actually in the arcade. I had it on Super Nintendo though, and Street Fighter as well. I had Street Fighter Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I think I had 2 as well, but I remember having Trilogy, playing that a lot. I've never been great at fighting games, to be honest, though. I wish I were better.
Right away.
Fighting games are so hard to keep up with right now, though. Like, if you're not, like, fucking fantastic at them, you just kind of, like, get beat up online real quick. People are pretty crazy with, their fighting game skills at this point. It's a sport. Esports, as they call it. Let's see, what do I got here? I got a div. And chaos orbs. Whoa.
I'll fill that in as soon as I can.
Yes, yeah. Even just like even just playing on normal online, you almost like don't get into fighting games unless you're really good at them. I bought was it the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero this year, and it was fun, especially for like the story. Um, but like playing online, like it's not even that like that's not even like a super meta game or anything. Like people aren't like super crazy into like the competitive side of it, but they're still super competitive about it to the point where at the very least like everyone picks whatever the craziest build is and they just like fucking stomp you using the same like tactics over and over again. And it's not super fun. But the story mode was really fun if you like Dragon Ball Z. It was pretty hard too. Had some difficult fights. Alright. Alright, I think that is going to conclude the stream for tonight. Like I said, I will probably take tomorrow off and probably be building a desk or something for the new PC. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll be going over the patch notes on Thursday. Be sure to watch the live stream on Twitch, either with your favorite content creator that's partnered or with the official Path of Exile 2 Twitch channel, and you will get your free Twitch drop. It is a rolling animation. Kind of looks like you. It's called the verdant something, so it's green. It's like floral. Kind of looks like a fart, but overall, it's still pretty cool to get free cosmetics in any way. But either way, that's going to be the end of it for today. Talk to you all later.